Go ahead, Jeff.
Commissioner Harpsted can start us off.
Good afternoon, all, and welcome again to the Governor's Council on Economic Expansion. This meeting is being held remotely due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Minnesota Statute Section 13D.021 allows us to hold remote meetings during the pandemic because in-person meetings or a meeting conducted under Section 13D.02 is not practical or prudent because of a health pandemic or an emergency declared under Chapter 12. Over to you, Jeff Ettinger.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. Welcome to everyone from the council as we get into the home stretch of round one of our work with the administration. We're going to start. I'm going to hand the mic over to Commissioner Groh, who has some updates on how our recommendations will fit into the overall input that the governor is receiving from a variety of sources.
Great, thanks, Jeff. Hey, everybody, it's good to see you all. I wanted to look back on just a couple of things that we've all discussed throughout our time together as a council as we head into this important kind of home stretch. First, we wanted to circle back on the Latino community and some of the concerns raised at the meeting a month or so ago from Latino leads, Ryan Mulso and others, around their participation. I think it was a very fair criticism, which we said at the time, and have had a lot of meetings since, both with Latino lead and MCLA on this topic. And I think looked into ways to navigate, because I think we felt like, you know, as a group of agencies and the governor's office who came together to choose this list, it was always going to be imperfect, just the nature of being limited by 15, but that it certainly was a miss not to have a Latinx representative on the crew. And so we looked into some fixes, looked at what we could do. Where we landed on it was we have added two prominent Latino leaders, or Latinx leaders rather, to another advisory council we have called our Economic Security Advisory Council. Ryan Mulso and Irma, along with Henry Jimenez, will be joining that Economic Security Council with us. A few of you are members of that as well. It's been going since the start of the pandemic. So we're eager to welcome those leaders on board. And then in addition, Jeff and Paul and all the commissioners are doing a separate kind of consultation with Irma and Ryan in particular in the next couple of weeks here to kind of review the work of the council so far and also hear their ideas and reactions to this progress, but also their own ideas for the governor, lieutenant governor, on ways to spend ARPA dollars. It'll be a good conversation. We're looking forward to it. So we'll have our a unique and distinct chance for consultation there, which we think is really important. So a lot of other conversations happening on that front, but I did just want to loop back to this group since it was an important point brought up in our journey, and wanted to make sure you all knew how we've navigated that with these important stakeholders. And then secondly, you know, we've been getting a lot of I think excitement and occasionally some questions from some of you on these final few weeks and what this all means and how the governor and lieutenant governor are going to digest this information. And you know, I'll tell you, they're excited. They bring it up to us all the time. The governor reads the notes coming out of this meeting every week and is keenly engaged and aware of what is being discussed. Lieutenant governor and our team of commissioners met just last week to discuss the progress. So they're excited and very much paying attention to this work and excited to see the final recommendations. As you all know, they're taking in a host of different stakeholder feedbacks as it relates to this upcoming budget session. And that includes the public ARPA portal, which we've talked about here before. We looked into, because a couple of you had asked, could we release that data to this group? And we looked into whether that's possible or not. The data is actually not public. It was designated by MMB, who makes determinations on these sorts of things, to be private budget data because it is part of a strategic budget creation process. So we're not able to release the full data. But that is one of many avenues of feedback that they're going to get. And like always, we'll get heading into a budget session. But I do want to just highlight, and we all want to highlight, that they did convene this group for a very specific reason, and they take the recommendations of this group really seriously. And they know, again, imperfect, because 15 is a limit, and they realize they've given you a very tight timeline and a short window of time to engage on this. However, they're going to take these recommendations very seriously and are really eager to dig into them. They aren't, from the beginning, expecting, you know, detailed policy proposals to come out of this group, but they're very interested both in A, the themes that this group thinks are most important, and then B, the ideas within those themes that are really rising to the top. And I think that's the path that we're on here. We're confident that the recommendation kind of format is going to work for them in terms of advising them for next steps. And of course, there's the whole journey beyond this council, or beyond this this November 15th recommendation that will yield additional expertise from you all. So just wanted to share that they are consuming lots of information from lots of stakeholders, but are really interested and really keenly excited to hear the recommendations coming out of this group. So just grateful for your leadership and work, and here we go. Final few weeks here as we come to some conclusions on this. So with that, turn back over to Jeff, but just wanted to offer that as some thoughts as we head into the conversation today.
Thanks so much, Steve. The team's going to put up a couple slides now that will walk you through what we're talking about for these last couple weeks of phase 1, so that everybody's sort of on the same page in terms of what we're looking at doing. So, starting with today, Monday, November the 1st. So today we have some important work to do in our live meetings. The goal here is to utilize the ranking that already occurred by everyone during the weekend and settle into our breakout groups and choose the top 3 priorities within each identified theme. Over the next few days after this meeting, the staff is going to use these priorities that are identified by the council to draft some recommendations that we can look at next week at our meeting. And we will discuss and hopefully vote on those recommendations at that time. We do have one other meeting, Monday, November 15th, if we need to spill over in terms of the voting or specific recommendations, but we also at that meeting will want to plan our presentation and also discuss how we plan to convene during phase 2 and how that part of the project will work. And then right now we have a calendared presentation to the governor and lieutenant governor on December the 1st from 1 to 2 in the afternoon. We can go to the next slide. I will now turn the mic over to Nicholas Peterson, and he's going to give you an overview of the work all of you did over the weekend and how it rolls out at this point.
Thanks, Jeff. I'm actually going to jump in for Nick Peterson. My name is Amy Schremp, and I'm just going to run through some logistics about the prioritization work that you all did and what we're going to do in our small groups today. So first and foremost, thanks for participating in the prioritization activity over the last few days. Really helpful as we move towards your phase 1 deadline. There were 45 ideas altogether, and we're working to condense the list today. As you noticed, when you ranked the ideas, the list included ideas that the state has gathered from stakeholders. Those were shaded a different color to kind of signal to you the difference between the ideas. And also in the ranking activity, only council members ranked ideas. Commissioners did not. The slide we're looking at shows how the council ranked the themes that you identified. I think this gives a nice snapshot of how the council is bringing shape to the work that you've done so far. And you can also see the full results of all rankings. We'll put a copy to the spreadsheet in the chat. And just to give you a heads up, there's a column on the left-hand side, and it says number of dots. Our ranking activity sort of replaces what would have been maybe a dot voting activity if we were in person. And so the number of dots is the number of folks who prioritized. And I saw the comment from you, Juhi, and yes, we will put a link to the slides in the chat as well. Thanks for bringing that up. And then let's see here. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 4 rounds of small group discussions, and we'll have the help of a staff facilitator again in each group. You'll start and finish the rounds discussing the theme that you chose to spend the most time on. Mind you, your theme will be grouped with 2 others. It's the same grouping of themes as our last meeting. Everyone will have a chance to weigh in on all of the ideas. And the 3 of you who didn't complete the prioritization activity, we ask that you really engage in this conversation and share your input today in those small groups. We'll close our meeting with each group sharing the recommended priorities based on the council's prioritization activity and the conversations that you'll have. And remember that any ideas that aren't included in the recommendations to the governor and lieutenant governor for phase 1 should and can be considered in the phase 2 of your work. So just to kind of run through the details of what the conversations will look like in small groups, You'll start by considering the priorities you ranked. So that layout will be what you'll view, those top ideas as selected by the council. Then you'll work to combine similar ideas or eliminate redundancies where it makes sense so that we can get those ideas to be really clear and succinct. And then you'll review them with an equity lens. And so some of those questions that we're asking that you consider as you bring that equity lens is, who might this idea or this theme of ideas benefit? Who might these ideas burden? And are there any unintended consequences that we need to consider? And then finally, you'll go back to your small group. You'll weigh in on all ideas, like I said, but you'll finish with the group you start with, and you'll choose the priorities that you want to recommend to the council that you consider bringing forward to the governor and lieutenant governor. And so we'll close out with you reporting out those priorities to the full council. And then between our meeting today and this Friday, staff have been directed to take what you've decided today and to draft the recommendation document for your discussion and vote next week. Any questions about process? Otherwise, I'll turn it back to Jeff. And then when Jeff, you're ready, we can go into small groups.
Can you just put up the slide again of the ranking of the themes?
Yes. Liz, do you want to share that? And then if you give me a moment, I will also, I'm going to put in the chat a copy of the slide deck, as I mentioned, and then also the spreadsheet that I mentioned. And it's working on loading right now, I believe.
I just want to thank everybody for your participation. I mean, you're already giving us extensive time with the 2-hour weekly meetings, and this was added homework, which we appreciate most of you were able to get to, and it really is allowing us to set up for this conversation today about kind of drilling down and prioritizing not only our themes, but ideas within the themes. And again, the goal, as was stated on the first slide, was we're going to try to get for each theme, kind of get down to 3. That may involve combining ideas, that may involve refining ideas, it may just involve some choosing, but that would be the goal with the groups today. So at this point, I think we can go ahead and break into the first group. That should be your longest group, the one that if you had the chance to identify where your priority was, you should be being put in the one related to that. otherwise had time to look at the chat, but I'm calling an audible here in terms of how we're going to report out. I think it's going to be more important to allow the staff to report out the leaders from each of the 8 theme groups as to where we ended up, what were the top 3, or if there's still any issues or whatever, rather than have each group kind of say, here's what we talked about here and here's what we talked about there. You're all welcome, obviously, if you want to add something or whatever, that's great. But I think that the more important goal was to get to those top 3 in each theme, and I think we will get there more quickly if we allow the professional staff that was in all of the meetings, hearing all of the council members on those topics, rather than have us try to just recount our own separate conversations. So let's go ahead and start with whoever wants to volunteer of the 3 leaders of who facilitated our groups. Please do.
So this is Liz, and I will start with our group so that the other facilitators kind of track how we're doing this. So the group that the topics that I carried around were really workforce, childcare, and youth employment and youth engagement. So some things that we heard or that we reached consensus around was this idea of skilling, reskilling, and upskilling through industry partnerships, and combining that with jobs that were livable wage jobs. So combining those 2 ideas, and then the idea to continue this manufacturing cohort to increase diversity, but apply that to all industries. So there was some pretty good consensus about these ideas in bold being the ones that move forward for workforce. Anything else that the group wants to add on that? Okay. Childcare, I again bolded kind of the top 3 ideas. So funding community solutions received a lot of support, although there's some nuance to what that means and how that works. But the important part about it is getting money to communities. And then there was support for Idea 5 and Idea 8, expanding child care assistance program and funding childcare and early childhood education. And then for youth employment and engagement, there was consensus to combine these top 2 ideas, and then keeping interest in paid internships for youth. One thing that I want to note is that there was not, we didn't kind of reach a landing point on frontline worker pay and where that moves forward. So I think the important thing to note about that is preserving people's choice and giving people opportunity if they want to stay in that role or advance out of it, and making that something that's livable. So being more future oriented rather than retroactive. So Jenny or Marcella, if you want to discuss what came out of your conversations.
I can go next. So the group, the topic I focus on is small business and entrepreneurship, as well as infrastructure. We didn't have a lot of time to discuss infrastructure, but the main idea that really surfaced to the top for that theme was the broadband and broadband access. In terms of entrepreneurship and small business, there were really 3 main ideas that that we discussed. So the first one is the Angel Tax Credit Acceleration, and we had a conversation about who benefits from this program. The idea proposes 90 million in angel tax credits and 50 million in grants. And some of the considerations would be how do we build the capacity for communities to have access to this program? That's one of the things. Also, some concerns about who, at the end of the day, might benefit from this program. Though there was some clarification that 50 million, the 50 million that goes to grants will be targeted to a minority and women-owned and managed businesses and businesses located in Greater Minnesota. And the other 90 million, there is an existing framework that that supports that these funds will be accessible to those targeted groups. We also talked about the BIPOC small business ecosystem idea, and this was an exciting idea that kind of provides all the supports that small businesses and entrepreneurs need to succeed. So these include things like technical assistance, training, events, funds, etc. So it is kind of a big idea with a big price tag. So we talked a bit about the need of potentially focusing more on narrowing down that idea, but also from other groups, there was support for, there was thoughts about this idea being able to pair really well with support from the private sector, especially kind of incentivizing projects around impact investment. Also potentially technical assistance could also be a place where private sector can support. And so the last one is the Pilot Growth and Innovation Funds, and this idea really talks about seed and scale funding for both nonprofit and the local governments. And we had a conversation about potentially including language so that it really is accessible to nonprofits, and providing really good definitions as of what scale funding means, what scale funding means for nonprofits. There was also another comment in the chat that was kind of at the end of our discussion, which is potentially we're kind of missing a place where we can support nonprofits and other small businesses in kind of, I'm going to read it because I think that's probably the best way that I can share this, but we're missing an idea that kind of considers investing in the future and recovery from the past 2 years. And within that nonprofits can be included. So that was kind of a thought that was that we didn't get to cover. And the only other thing that that needs to be considered is what do we do with some of those ideas that are more related to policy that don't necessarily have a price tag attached to them, and how do we kind of bring those ideas forward? Yeah, that's kind of it. I hope I didn't miss anything.
Thank you. Are the third report out?
Yep. So this was housing, healthcare, and community. For housing, there was pretty much consensus with the groups that talked about it, which, except for on the very first idea, which was new affordable housing production and preservation. And there was a suggestion to separate it and a suggestion that they're the same thing, essentially based on the way that construction works, and should stay together. So that's something I think we'll see if the staff can look into and determine how it's been recommended in funding before, if there's a way to do it that would work with recommendations that already exist. The rezoning should be moved to phase 2 because that's more of a policy thing. Though if it's already in the works, it might be something that can be done with a one-time subsidy incentive or something. But the thought was, in general, it's more of a policy change. It should be part of phase 2, which is longer lasting. And then the final idea was going to be a combination of the different funding sources, subsidy sources such as the mortgage subsidy, the 9,000 equities, reducing the racial wealth divide, and possibly the expanding affordable housing opportunities suggestion, because it's kind of a combination of multiple things. For healthcare, everyone was in agreement that the expand virtual healthcare opportunities concept, which received the second most votes, is a great infrastructure concept, and so should be moved to the infrastructure category and possibly combined with another larger infrastructure suggestion. to get it included that way. The mental health ecosystem is really important, and the healthcare workforce crisis, everyone agreed that there's going to be some, it's going to be hard to deal with one-time funding, but it also is very timely. So that's something that'll have to be looked into. Because of moving the infrastructure one, that left 2 in tie for 3rd place. And the decision was that launching paid family medical leave is a good choice for being in 3rd place because it's an infrastructure investment to lay the groundwork, and that's what's held it up from being created in the past. For community, there was a question of whether the service delivery transformation suggestion should be paid for with state funds versus ARPA funds. And there's a possibility that if there's one-time funding available in the general fund, possibly that would be a good way to do one-time funding, but not ARPA one-time funding. And that there was agreement that the pandemic relief for immigrant Minnesotans can be combined with the one about ineligible people for relief and stimulus, and that would then tie it with 1st place. So we will have 4 in 1st place, so 4 ideas for this group, which is Immigrant Legal Services Fund, Universal Benefits Grant Pilot, Service Delivery Transformation, and Pandemic Relief for ineligible Minnesotans, previously ineligible Minnesotans.
Very good. Thank you to all 3 of you for on the spur of the moment and providing us with it, and also for really a skillful job of carrying us through the hour and a half that we did the breakout sessions themselves. So now, please, I will open it up for comments by any of the council members. I mean, we're not voting today, but we're at the stage where the staff would really kind of like a sense for us as to whether we're comfortable in general with them drafting based on the priorities they've heard today. Again, reminding everyone that if some of the ideas didn't hit the top 3, maybe because they were more policy-based or whatever, that we still do have our full 2nd phase of our work that'll actually be the longer phase that we're together. And so we certainly can revisit a number of those items then. So any comments that anybody'd like to share here?
Well, this is Joe Fowler. Jeff, you were in my group, and I can appreciate that some of these things may be added in the 2nd phase, but I'm going to highlight there are a couple of them. One of them being retainage, the amount of retainage and the amount of time that somebody can wait to pay a contractor, as well as access to affordable bonding. Neither were in the top to get voted on, but both of them, I believe, would have dramatic effects on the small business owners or just BIPOC community business owners in the construction industry. And one of them doesn't even have a dollar value attached. It's a policy change. So just want to highlight that and see if there's a way that we can continue to have that considered in the future, even if it's not part of the top ones.
Other comments?
I just want to make a comment just for the notes too, that when we're thinking about combining any of the BIPOC or targeted business ideas, is to not lose the essence of what those ideas carry, because it is a complex and a very dynamic way to invest in these businesses. And part of that is coupled with the idea of investing in the future and also helping recover. So if it's one idea, making sure that it's comprehensive, otherwise allowing for the 3 different type of approaches.
Very good. Other comments?
I guess this is Barty. I guess I would just say, maybe along the lines of what Marcus is also saying, is that I'm often trying to think about what is the problem I'm trying to solve with any action and or investment, right? And I think the reality of it is, to his point, is there is actually, these are interlocking different types of needs that we're trying to resolve with like one-time funding. I mean, I think that like it will be really important to kind of hold true to some of the things that we're doing, because there is complexity involved, and then there's also the layer of like one-time ARPA funds, whatever. So I think to the extent that as we are sussing these ideas out, that we are clear about what they can do and what they can't do. because there's going to be a lot of things that cannot be done with these to address the complexity of those funds. And maybe that's where the invitation on the phase 2 portion of our time together maybe where the opportunity is. So I just want to, you know, put that out there, because I think a lot can get lost when you're trying to like distill it down to like the thing. But the reality is there's a whole host of things that are keeping BIPOC entrepreneurs from fully, accessing the resources necessary to have successful businesses, to make childcare, I mean, whatever it is that we're looking at, right? So I just want to, like, I think that's just a cautionary tale that we just need to be really careful of as we're moving through a very quick process, and also trying to get to a set of recommendations. There's got to be a place we're holding the complexity somewhere. And where will that be as a group?
And I think also, like, kind of tied to what you just said, Barty, is just around the fact that, you know, I want to encourage this group to really think from a place of abundance rather than a deficit. Like, yes, like this is only a certain amount of money, and therefore we can't do everything. Like, that's true. And we still have a surplus in the state, and there is an investment that we should be making into the future of Minnesota. So I think that's like the big, it's complex, but this isn't it. This should not be considered it. We need to be fighting for the things that we believe in.
I'll speak up again and say, when it comes to housing, I think it's absolutely critical that prevailing wage be attached to the housing, because it's an enforcement mechanism as well, and to make sure that people are getting paid the living wage to build those projects.
Other comments for this week? Well, we really appreciate your involvement. It was a lot to do today, a lot to absorb. They were moving, so we owe everybody a kind of a recap. Okay, here's how it shook out, and give everybody another shot at that when we get together again in a week. But we really appreciate the effort everyone put in, both in terms of spending extra time since our last meeting to go ahead and do the prioritization and ranking work, and then also today. Thanks very much. We'll see you all in a week.
Thank you. Bye-bye.